Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. If you like what you're hearing, hit the subscribe button, give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for this weekend, Friday, February 14th, Saturday, February 15th, and Sunday, February 16th, 2020. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
Hey, man, these are always fun. It's the Hockey Betting Podcast. Brian Blessing in Las Vegas. Cam Stewart, he's north of the border. Hell, we're going at it before we even start. Let's go, baby.
Pitbulls. I got to tell you something, Brian. You know what? We've been working all night, all day, and we're a little bit. We're the Earl of Searle right now. We're bitter guys, but you know what? We'll give you winners. Don't worry about it. Last night too, the late games went great, and everything but our. You know what? Life's funny. Everything but the game that checked off all the boxes won. We took a piece of Washington. Vegas came back. That game was good. Calgary and that's my angle, Brian. Losing the first and coming back. They smoked Anaheim. Dallas was a nice price against the Leafs. The Florida game went over. More winners than losers. I will say this, though. That Islander game, I didn't expect them to get pumped like that. That was embarrassing. Yeah. But hey,
that was a throwaway. And then, the funny thing is, though, I mean, there were intangibles. Let's right out of the gate. The really good news. In fact, I talked to Darren Pang last night.
Nice.
And he was there on the front lines of the Jay Bouwmeester deal. And thankfully, again, hats off to the NHL, the Blues, the Ducks doctors. And he had it. Basically, I guess it's the procedure they're calling. I'm no doctor, but it sounds like they put a pacemaker in to get him a regular heart rhythm. And, so all things looking good there. Other news and notes, Cassian kicks Cernak with a skate, box of rocks, turns down the face-to-face, hearing with the NHL. So he's guaranteed to get 5, probably going to get something in the 8 to 10 range.
I think he should get more.
Whatever.
Bottom line is this, Brian. You saw the play. You saw the play.
Selfish.
It is stupid and selfish. But I know there's other plays. He was protecting one of his players. He thought it got a little bit of a sucker punch. Also, Cernak had him kind of pinned down. He wanted to get up, but there's no excuse ever to. No. I don't care how frustrated you are. Those things are sharp. You've seen it. It's ridiculous. It's a weapon. He should get 20, in my opinion. He's got to make a statement here.
And McDavid's out.
I know.
I mean, they can't afford to lose him. And he's got a track record, box of rocks, and then
it's true.
And Bruce Boudreau went to the goal.
I don't understand that. Here's the thing. You're making an example of Bruce Boudreau. You're 7-3-1 in your last games. Like, what the hell do you want from the Minnesota Wild?
They got a point in the loss.
Yeah, they're projected to be one of the worst teams in the league. Boudreau's done a great job with those guys. Give me a break. This is unbelievable. I'm like, so you fire the guy after getting a point. They're 7-3-1. Like, they're actually on a heater, and you fire the coach. That makes no sense to me. Obviously, Brian, there's something deeper to this story, and I think we'll find out about it because I think it's weird.
But that's the same thing was going on with the Gerard Gallant thing here in Vegas. Yep. Coaches, they get a shelf life. It's not job security. If you want a job security, don't be an NHL coach.
Good point. I just think Boudreau got a raw deal. It's not his problem.
I'm not arguing with that at all. Okay. All right, buddy, let's dive in. Friday night, you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, ready. Let's do it.
San Jose's at Winnipeg. Winnipeg's $1.50. Speaking of coaches, Maurice, I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, they get off to this great start with no defenseman back there. Then supposedly Maurice, the words were that Maurice was on a hot seat. Well, he just got an extension. I mean, this guy was doing a great job. I never understood that one. San Jose remains a dog's breakfast, total 6.5. Or pardon me, 6. Yeah. Total 6.
6. It's tough, Brian, but here's the thing, right? How do you take San Jose? They could show up eventually. They're not going to lose every game, but they're a bad hockey team, as we've seen. Like, they're just regressing at a rapid pace. Winnipeg coming off a loss to the Rangers in an embarrassed fashion. One of our angles. I like to come back to teams like this. I think Maurice will have them ready to go. I don't necessarily want to lay 50 cents. If you're feeling bold, Brian, -1.5 plus 170 is a way to go with this game. Or you can put it in parlays too, but it's not too expensive, the juice. I think Winnipeg gets it done tonight. They'll beat SJ Sharkey.
All right. I'm going to zigzag on something here.
Okay.
Tell me what you think. The Rangers are at Columbus. Columbus is $1.45. The total is 5.5 to the under. I played the over in the Sabres Blue Jackets game because, and there was a reason I did it. Well, there were two reasons. One, Hutton was playing, and he was going against Elvis, who's like one of the hottest goalies going. But I swear to you, Cam, I did it, and, yay me, Olofsson returned to the lineup. Yep. And he gets a couple of goals, including the game winner, and Buffalo, whatever. It got there. Now, the Rangers, I also played the over in the Rangers Wild game.
Yep.
And that got there. But you know what? I think under 5.5 is the ticket here. They said Sherstikhin is now the number one goalie of this team. Now, I don't know. Let's double check here because Elvis played last night. It may, I better double check this. It may not be him back-to-back nights.
No, it's not. They throw in that kid. They throw in, let me pronounce his name, Brian. I'll get it to you. It says Elvis Merzlikins expected, but that other guy they got is pretty good, too. They got the weirdest names there. But I don't care who it is. It's under 5.5. You said it. That Columbus Sabres game looked like a nut under the whole night, and then, boom, they exploded, right? It was 1-0 after the first, and, I got to believe that Columbus, if they get a lead on the Rangers, they don't want to open it up. The Rangers coming back, both teams playing the other night. I'm with you. I see like a 2-1, 3-2 hockey game.
It's going to be Lundqvist, and I think Lundqvist is motivated here because they're basically said Sherstikhin is the future. I think, listen, God bless everything he's done in his career. I think they got to move Lundqvist. And you know what? And they do him a service to send him to a contender. But
know where he needs to go? And I'll tell you where he needs to go. As stupid as this sounds, and it won't happen because of Bob, he needs to go to Florida.
No. You know why he won't go to
goaltending? Bobrovsky stinks, and the backup's horrible. Montembeau's not ready to play. They suck. They got horrible goaltending, the Panthers.
You know what? I mean, you're right. And normally I'd say you're nuts, but in the short window, the thing that's insane about Florida now you know why they did it. They drafted Spencer Knight, and everybody's raving about this kid, is going to be the future for the Florida Panthers. Oh, is he? I mean, Bob's making $10 million until 2026, and he can't stop a basketball.
Horrible move. Like you said it. Like the Panthers think they got goaltenders of the future. They have young guys, yet you give Bobrovsky that kind of contract. I didn't like the move initially. I understand he was very good with Columbus when they played Tampa Bay, but he looks old right now. He got paid, and this is what happens in sports a lot of time. You get that big contract. Bob's probably sucking vodka from a plastic bottle. You know what I mean? He's, hey, I'm living in paradise right here. I'm playing in Florida where no one gives a rat's ass, and I'm making money. It's a bad situation. They need a goaltender. I don't know how the hell they're going to do it, Brian, but anyway, I like the under tonight, Rangers and Columbus. I agree with you. I think Lundqvist will be motivated. If it's Elvis, anybody else for Columbus, I think it's going to be a very, very defensive game, and the team with the lead will try to protect it.
All right, let's go.
I like the over in the Devils Carolina, though, buddy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and the one thing I would throw at you, it's our angle. It's our angle, Pally. Well, Carolina, first game home from St. Louis, Arizona, Vegas, and Dallas.
I call you Mickey Marlboro. I'm going to call you Paul Protractor. Yeah, a lot of angles. Brian likes the T-square.
Scaling, isosceles.
Exactly. Hey, I'm pressing for Home Depot. What do we do here? The Devils, they came back in that game against Detroit, Brian. They were left for dead. I bet them live. I'm like, wow, I'm getting a minus 180 favorite as a slight dog now. And they scored 4 goals and beat Detroit 4-1. I'm like, that was fun. You can't lay 260 with Carolina. No way. The problem is Domingue might start, and that's a problem. That's why I like the over.
Well, I'm not. Did he not play last night?
Domingue?
I thought he did.
Why does it say he's expected then? That's what I don't understand.
I know. I'm seeing him. It's Louis.
So it's Domingue. It's
Louis Domingue. Louis Domingue should be worth 2.5 over.
I like the 6. It's not even 6.5. Give me the over in the game, and I'll tell you something though. Carolina better be careful. This Devils team's been a little bit sneaky, Brian. They've been really good to me. All of a sudden, they're not a train wrek anymore. Like
when there's the lack of focus, I think I'm not in the mood. I ain't doing it. but I would venture a guess, and I'm going from memory. This angle that's printed dough for us this year was fade the teams coming home from the long road trip because of lack of focus, blah, 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 and all the things we've talked about. But I'm telling you, Cam, and I'm honestly, I'm just going from memory, which I don't know what I did 6 minutes ago, but I can remember phone numbers from when I'm 5.
Correct.
And it's pretty good when it comes to stuff like this. I think that those games when the teams come home, I think the majority of those games are high scoring because I think the lack of focus really surfaces in the defensive zone.
Listen to this one, Brian. The Devils in these games, okay, recently, they've gotten points in, okay, shootout win versus Ottawa, shootout loss at Nashville 6-5, overtime loss versus Dallas, shootout loss versus the Montreal Canadiens, beat Philly 5-0, beat the Kings 3-0. The only game lost to Florida 5-3, and their goaltending was horrible because of Domingue, and last night beat Detroit. So they're getting points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of their last 9 games, the New Jersey Devils. And you're going to lay 260 with Carolina? Get bent. It's the over and maybe the Devils. I might play it.
Well, buddy, no, wait a minute. You roped me in. I'm in. All right.
Of course you're in.
You pled your case.
Yep.
You pled your case, and it's our angle. I guess I get it. But with Louis Domingue, that's all I need to see. 3-5-2, 891 save percentage, 3.43 goals against. Yeah, I like you. You talked me into it. I like the over.
Yep, taking the over, buddy, and a slight lean if you guys like big dogs. New Jersey plus 220. I think that's too much value. What about
Montreal? Montreal's at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's $1.80. 5.5 is the Montreal. This trade deadline's looming, man, and this poor team. They've been snake bit. I mean, I'm not in the business of feeling sorry for the Canadians, but boy, no. By the way, and they traded for Scandella, so they're not real smart either.
No, Scandella's horrible. Shea Weber, one of the best players in the league, out 4-6. Carey Price can't do this by himself. The Pittsburgh Penguins are at home. This is a game they need to take care of business. Crosby loves playing Montreal, too, playing in the Q. He gets fired up, even just seeing that Habs uniform there, the C and the H. He gets pretty angry. I'll tell you one thing, it's Pittsburgh everywhere tonight. You want to do the Pittsburgh 3-step? You could parlay it, -1.5 to +140 regulation. I think Pittsburgh gets it done. Montreal's just a wounded animal right now, but they're losing fight.
All right, there you have it. It's a look at Friday, but Saturday's on the horizon. That big buffet. Cam loves buffets. The big menu is coming up next. We'd like to thank BetChrisCanada.net for their support of the Hockey Betting Podcast. I'm Brian Blessing in sunny Las Vegas.
And I'm Cam Stewart in cold Toronto, Canada.
If you love hockey and you're in Canada, and Cam is, look for a BetChris near your next holiday destination.
BetChris offers the best value odds on Canadian and international sports. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open up your account at a BetChris location.
So, if you're planning a trip to exotic locations from the Caribbean and Mexico to Peru and almost everywhere in between, the odds are very good. There's a BetChris Sportsbook where you're going on holiday. For more information about visiting a BetChris location while you're on holiday, visit BetChrisCanada.net. That's BetChrisCanada.net. Use the promo code PODCAST. It's the Saturday buffet of hockey. It's literally like Cam at a buffet in Vegas.
How many plates?
And there's so many games. When Cam goes to the buffets in Vegas, it turns his colon into a Gatling gun. And we're going to go Gatling gun today with all these games. How's that for an analogy?
I love it. Very true, Brian. Very true.
Sorry for the visual.
I'm an idiot, too. You know what I mean, Brian? There's so much selection in Vegas. I had chicken wings, I think, every day of that trip. I just couldn't stop, man. They were absolutely great. You took me to the tap house, and I got hooked on. I can't stop eating chicken wings. I love it.
You're a man of simple means. Yep. So you keep eating wings over and over. So what do? We keep getting winners over and over, right? Let's keep doing it.
You said it, buddy.
Detroit, Boston. I'm not laying 335 with these characters.
Pass. And I'll tell you, though, I will tell you this. Detroit, when I was in Vegas, Brian, remember the Saturday afternoon game? I actually took them as a crazy dog and won. This is a revenge spot for Boston, but the only way to play it is puck line. Boston's going to kill Detroit in this game, but I'm not laying 335.
All right, interesting game. Nashville's at St. Louis. St. Louis is $1.32.
St. Louis is winning this game. I'm telling you. I don't care about coming back from Vegas, angles, this and that, the Jay Bouwmeester stuff. This is a team that's going to be galvanized. Nashville, their big win over Islanders, feeling good about themselves. I'll lay 30 cents with the Blues, Brian. I know it kind of goes against some things that we say, but I think St. Louis is a different type of team and animal with the stuff they have going around their team and Jay Bouwmeester back. They're going to have a rocking crowd. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Nashville's in big trouble, I think.
Okay, the one thing I would say to you is St. Louis showed up, and they played with a sense of purpose. They had Vegas on the ropes. I thought they should have won the game. Sammy Blais commits an incredibly horrible turnover with 4 minutes left in the game, and then Vegas wins it in overtime on the power play. But you know what, Cam? And again, we're thrilled that the news is good for Bouwmeester. But I'll tell you the one thing I did see. Sanford had 4 goals. St. Louis is playing with a sense of purpose. But Vegas, pumped them in. Shots on goal is a meaningless stat. Binnington was under duress a lot in that game. You know what we haven't talked? We've talked about Bouwmeester the person, but Bouwmeester's not back there now. St. Louis in their own end. St. Louis has a real problem in their own end right now.
I couldn't agree more. And this is the thing. We gotta take St. Louis overs. You saw the Vegas game, and I'll take them to win. And that's a good point. I will take the over in this game. What do we know about St. Louis? Their defense, obviously, it's a huge loss. Nashville can still score goals. Binnington and Allen, they could slip up. I'm going to tell you, too, this total will be 5.5 or 6. It won't be 6.5 over.
Yeah. And I don't know why, Cam. Maybe I am just stubborn to a fault.
Florida?
No, I don't think Nashville's out of this. I think Poyle's going to do something.
Oh, yeah.
I know they've been such a massive disappointment, but, you look at the standings, my friend. If they don't have a big hill to climb, and Poyle's going to do something.
I agree with you.
There's just too much talent there.
Nashville's sneaky. They're sneaky because, Pekka Rinne has a history of, gagging in the playoffs, but they still have a good team. They still have, underrated players. Nashville's one of those teams that's interesting because they've always disappointed in the playoffs. This is the year that everyone rides them off, and what happens when you ride off a team? They impress you and go deeper than people think. I agree with you. I think Nashville, if they get in, they're going to be a very hard out.
Would that be a crazy? I've already hit Colorado.
Yeah,
that's the
big pooch.
It ain't a pooch though. It's 12-1.
It's still a good number.
But I'm curious. Where they sit today, if they do something at the deadline, and all of a sudden this team becomes the team they're capable of being.
Yep.
Nashville not a home run play. 30-1.
That's a good number.
30-1 on the Preds. They've been 10-12-1 the last 3 years.
I know we got to get into the other stuff. What do you think about Dallas as another?
The goalie. You got the goalie.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think the West. You look at it. You got Colorado and everybody else, but there's no lock that Colorado is going to win. Say Grubauer or Francouz, one of these guys. They get in their own head and bad things happen. You need a hot goaltender. These games are going to be tight, Brian. I agree. We can't just, even though I like Colorado as the future bet, it's probably the best one, and I would pick them to come out of the West or win the Stanley Cup. I think Nashville's a team that, at that price, it needs to be examined a little bit further.
I like Edmonton, Florida. Florida's doing. Hey, did we not call this?
We are. You know what? Did we not call it Florida for punishment? I'm taking Florida in this game, even though everything we said is true. Edmonton, Cassian, this is where it catches up with you. Florida, you're a bunch of dogs. I hate you. Know what, Florida Panthers? I hate you. I hate everything about your team. You never do well. You underachieve every single year. Your fan base, I know it's not all their fault. They're in the middle of nowhere. But you know what? This league needs to contract this team because they suck. But I like Florida, minus 135.
Well, they're 5 points out of a playoffs. Oh, I know. I know. They're the most.
You not agree with me? Let's just tell Florida to go away. Go away, Florida. Let's bring in another city. There's got to be Cleveland, somewhere else. Let's gas the Panthers and bring somebody else in.
I think I'm with you on the Florida side here, because I'll tell you, old Bob better come. He got the hook.
Yeah, he sucks.
Right, and no, but he's got to come back with a bounce back effort.
Yeah.
What do you think about under? And I know Florida plays this ridiculous. Smith's been playing well. This total, this total will be 6.5. You
know what? I agree.
No McDavid, no Cassian.
It's true. Edmonton.
Bob in a bounce back effort.
Here's the thing, and you bring up a good point. I do like Florida to win the game, but for Edmonton to win, they're going to have to play a low-scoring game. You saw that game with Tampa. They tried to put the game into quicksand with Tampa, and it almost worked. Tampa Bay came back, and they only won 3-1 under the total. I see the exact same type of situation with Florida, Brian. If it's 6.5, we're digging with the under. Keep digging. Let's go. Bring out the shovel. Under.
All right. Philly right now, the 8th seed in the East, on a little tootsie roll, 7-2-1.
I wouldn't take Tampa at this price. I'm going to tell you something, too. By my recollection, Philadelphia was in this situation. It's one of these things, these Saturday night games as big dogs. The Flyers are a weird team, man. They almost came back and beat the Islanders when they had a horrible start to that game. And Tampa, they've been playing with fire. They're winning games, but Edmonton could have won that game, Brian. I think Philadelphia at plus 150 offers value. I'm not saying I'm betting it right now, but Tampa Bay, I will not be anywhere near them in parlays or whatever. For me, it's Philadelphia or nothing in this game.
How about San Jose at Minnesota? Would you take a flyer? You got the Wild, the coaching shakeup, blah, blah, blah. But this is a team's been scoring some goals of late. Now, 3 of their last 4 have gone under, but they've scored 4, 3, 2, 4, and 3 in their last 5 games. San Jose is bad, but they've got firepower. I'm wondering about another over.
Yeah,
here.
maybe the over. I don't know. Like, did the Minnesota players like Boudreau? Tell you one thing, I'm not laying 75 cents with Minnesota. I agree. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. I'm probably going to stay away from it, but my initial lean to you, if I were to look at all sides and all totals, over would be my plan. It's not my favorite game, though, Brian.
Yeah, I hear you. Dallas-Montreal.
Another tough game.
Pretty close to a pick here. Dallas is sitting in Montreal and Montreal's in Pittsburgh. And Montreal's going to be coming home to face Bishop?
Yeah, no.
And the numbers in Montreal, they got minus 15 cents. What are they thinking
Listen,
here?
Brian, I'm a horrible person. I bet against the Leafs, like a team that I cheer for. But you know what? I said this team's not paying my bills. Does Kyle Dubas and Brendan Shanahan come over and give me money? They don't. They've been lucky to win those games, and I took Dallas at a plus 135 underdog. They could have won the game by more. I'm with you. Montreal's an injured team, and if Dallas can beat Toronto, they could sure beat Montreal, and the situation sets up. Give me the Dallas Stars. I'm with you. That line should be Dallas $1.30. It's a short price.
How about this, my friend?
Over.
We got an interesting weekend. Toronto. Now as they're sitting there, I'm telling you, buddy. You know me. I keep shooting holes in these guys because I think they get the. They're overrated. They got the lucky call. They get the goal disallowed against Arizona, which was a joke, I thought. And then they win the game. They come back now. They lose Dallas. But this weekend, they're sitting here 4 points. They're at Ottawa and at Buffalo. I could see them losing them both.
Yeah, this is like people are going to jump on the Leafs thinking these are like must-win games that they'll win. Pump the brakes. This team's not that good. Ottawa, too, they beat Arizona. Like, Ottawa is one of those teams that gets no respect. They're at home getting 65 cents against the Toronto. You're telling me you got to lay $2 with the Toronto Maple Leafs? That's stupid. I don't care if they win the game. I don't care if they blow out Ottawa. They could. You know what? The play is Ottawa and the over. If you're going to play this game, that's what you do. Toronto will score after coming off the loss, and Ottawa will score on their shaky goaltending and defense. But I like the dog.
Yeah, the one thing, and honestly, I really do. I like Ottawa. And you know why? We know they're not good, but it's because they tore it down and they're building something. There's some really good young players. And by the way, this Pajot's name's out there. You think this kid ain't going to be skating around like a lunatic tomorrow?
Yeah, I know. I agree. I just think the pricing on the Leafs is insane. As bad as their ticket prices are and beer costs, the gambling market overestimates these guys. And you know what? If you guys bet against them this year, you're probably making money. Despite the winning record, they're huge favorites all the time, and it's not warranted. It's Ottawa. If you're betting this game, Toronto could win. Sure, they could. They're a $2 favorite, but I don't want any piece of them, Brian.
Another one. I mean, I'd only go total route here. I don't.
Or parlay. I'll tell you one thing. Colorado, I was on Washington. That was a nice comeback by the Capitals. I know they were a cold team. I took them in Colorado. It's hard to do. Los Angeles, they've tapped out. You don't want to lay 245 in this spot, Brian, but I got to believe after losing to the Capitals, Colorado's a professional hockey team. They'll find I could have seen this line at minus 300, actually. You don't have value on a minus 240 favorite, but the opening line's not even that bad. The Kings are horrible, and Colorado's one of the best teams in the league. You could parlay it or take them in like you like to do on the puck line.
Chicago is at Calgary.
What
and
do you
Calgary
do with
is
this
laying.
game?
No, hold on. Let me throw a couple things at you. This is Calgary's first game home from a 4-game road trip that saw them go 3-1, getting their act together a little bit. Chicago back in the playoff picture, and they have literally vomited all over themselves and have lost 5 in a row. And this sojourn continues. They play back-to-back Calgary and Winnipeg. Chicago's a mess right now.
They are. I'm not confident laying it with Calgary, but Chicago, I want to take them. We talk about our angles, but you know what, Brian? The way the Blackhawks are playing right now, it's kind of like they were on a heater for a while and they've tapped out. Remember that golfer? He just can't do it anymore. The tournament's caught up with him. Bogey, double, he's done. And that's the way I feel about Chicago. You look at the price, plus 130. It seems intriguing. Calgary, too. They could be snowflakes, or they could beat Anaheim 6-0. What are you going to get with this team? I'll tell you one thing. Calgary should win this game. Do I want to lay 50 cents? No. I'm probably going to pass on this game. And I don't know. What do you think about the total?
I just don't. I don't like the game.
No, I don't like the game.
Well,
we've liked a lot of other games. I do like one of the final 2 games, but let's talk Washington, Arizona, buddy. What do you think of this one?
Washington's laying $1.30. Here's my prediction. Ovechkin's going to get a goal here.
Yep.
And Ovechkin won the cup in Vegas and took the cup to the Bellagio fountains and went nuts. I'm saying that Ovechkin gets number 700 Monday night in Vegas.
I couldn't agree more. That's a great prediction. If they have a prop bet, I'm going to take it. Brian, what do we do with Arizona? This is a team that needed points, and they lost to Ottawa and didn't even get a regulation point. They came back, fell short, lose 3-2. This is the type of game they'll win, though, at plus 110. You know what I mean? Right when we count them out. I don't know what to do with this game. Washington coming off that win against Colorado. Oh, God. Pass. But I lean Arizona.
Well, yeah, I can't step up to the plate with them.
I'll step up.
They're so weird. You know what?
I'll step up to the final game, and I'll tell you this, Brian. You saw what happened. The Blues Vegas game was crazy. The New York Islanders are coming off a horrible, embarrassing loss.
When you get embarrassed,
I'm taking them at plus 140 in Vegas. That will make my card. The Islanders will find a way to grind it out, and Vegas feeling good about themselves. You know what? Vegas is a lot like the Leafs West, but they're tougher. They get inflated lines a little bit. They're not really playing that great. They've been lucky. I'm sorry.
Goaltending.
Yeah,
the goaltending's been so-so.
They feel like Toronto, but they're better than Toronto, West versus East. But I think the Islanders are in a really good spot in this game. We thought it was going to get done in Nashville, but they'll take this one, and we're getting a nice number against the Golden Knights.
All right, there you have Saturday's card. Let's go to Sunday, Cam. We'll do a handful of these.
It's tough.
We got 2-4.
We don't know what we'll give you our initial leans. It's tough, right? So,
a Gatling gun, Detroit, Pittsburgh.
Pass.
Boston, New York Rangers.
Pass. Maybe Rangers.
I'll say over 5.5.
I'll take over in that game too. Carolina.
Edmonton, Carolina. I think a lot depends what Carolina does tonight against New Jersey.
Yes,
but I think Edmonton is. Let's see how that weekend goes for
very
both
similar
of these.
to how we played Calgary, right, Brian? Disappointing loss against the Kings. Come back and smoke Anaheim. It's a very simple angle in hockey, but it wins more than it loses. And I was on the Flames big last night, and if Carolina loses this game tonight, even if they're a huge favorite, I'd pound them, put them in parlays. Anaheim,
you know what? I didn't have the guts to do it. I would just tell you the funny thing was, I mean, when we had talked about it, and it's never easy to do it when something bad happened. But we talked about, once the Blues knew that Bouwmeester was okay, that the ice was a safe haven for them, and I honestly, they should have won the game in Vegas. Give the Golden Knights credit; they came back, they won the game. Sanford had 4 goals, and the Blaze turnover was atrocious, and the Blues lived in the penalty box. I think they win the game. Bottom line is, though, what I said was, hey, everybody's talking about how the Blues going to react. And I'm like, I wonder how Anaheim reacts, because those guys were standing there watching all that, too, and they got killed.
That's a good point. And I'll tell you something. How do you step in front of Vancouver right now? I watched that Vancouver-Chicago game, Brian, the Sedin tribute night. Chicago, for the first 10 minutes, gave them everything but the kitchen sink. They should have been up 2-3-0. Markstrom made some saves. And after that, Vancouver got their legs and they won the game 3-0. Anaheim should be able to bounce back with a better effort, but Vancouver's hot, and they're 19-6 at home. They're a very good home team, and they don't get the respect from the books that they deserve playing good hockey. I'm not stepping in front of Vancouver.
Bet of the day, and I think you might have to go puck line here. I'm just trying to confirm this real quick. Columbus coming off the lost 3 in a row, 2 of the 3 in overtime. We'll see what happens with the Rangers game. I don't see Columbus going into Jersey, clowning around, messing that game up. I like Columbus a lot. I like
Columbus, but I'm telling you, the Devils are sneaky, playing a lot better hockey. It's no lock, but I agree, especially Columbus. They've lost a lot of heartbreakers. They need to take care of business. They should be able to get it done. All
right, here it is. I'll tell you right now, play of the day for me will be Toronto at Buffalo over the total. If it's Hutton, if it's Johansson, there'll be 40% of the crowd will be Leafs fans. Yep. I don't know why Sabres think they got a little mini glimmer of hope again. But if this is, put it this way, Buffalo's season's on the line here. I mean, if you win this game, you can get within 6 of Toronto. You lose. They're going to be highly motivated. The Leafs are loaded. But I'm telling you, Olofsson back with the Sabres, completely different animal. The power play is lethal again. I like the game over.
I like the game over, and I got to tell you, Buffalo. What does Buffalo do when they host Toronto? Buffalo beats Toronto a lot in Buffalo. So, honestly, I mean, okay, it's Toronto, it's Buffalo, but I'll tell you, you want to see a show though? Eichel and Matthews, these guys, it's like they're playing against each other out there. It's true.
Eichel and it's like one guy gets 2 goals, the other guy gets a hat trick. They put on a show.
Oh, and it's going to be a great game, hence the over, right? And I'll tell you, though, Toronto will be favored again. And for people that don't know the history, Sabres get up for this game in the Battle of the QEW. I'd be very, very hesitant. Toronto should. If people are thinking they're going to beat Ottawa and Buffalo, exactly what you said before, they could lose both games. I like the over more than anything in this game as well, too. They always play overs in Buffalo.
All right. Yep. And just throw this out there. They're 17-10-4 at home, yep. But they've lost to bad. It's funny, they lose to bad teams. They do play to the level of their competition. That's the ridiculously frustrating thing about being a Sabres backer.
It's true. Like look at them against Detroit. They needed to come back win. They lose the other game. Like, it's pathetic, right? And then the Leafs come to town and they look like they're like contenders. No, that's the Sabres in a nutshell, but they'll be motivated for this game. In Toronto, if they're sleeping or think it's going to be a cakewalk, they'll get murdered. Like, Buffalo will win the game like 6-3, like 6-4. Like, it'll get done.
All right. We've made it through the weekend on the Hockey Betting Podcast, and I'm going to get on to my existence here. I got a busy day. Cam is going to be—he's like that morning DJ that's he's doing the marathon for charity where he's up on the billboard. Cam's ready to go do 27 straight hours of radio.
You got it, Blessing, buddy. Let's hope we put some money in our pockets, man. Should be a lot of fun, and we'll get it done, Brian. I got a good feeling. It was a nice ending to the night. Let's keep the train rolling.
Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. Hey, we hope you like what you're hearing. And if you do, hit the subscribe button and give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At BetChrisCanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling. an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.